good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to Mr. Parker's Neighborhood. And today, oh my goodness, today's going to be a good one. I have with me, as you can see, Dr. Freddy J. Clark. Hello, sir. How are you today?
Hey, Cecil, how are you
I'm doing good. We're going
Yeah,
to start things off a little bit like we always do here. I have a question this time. It might not work, but I always ask the viewers to tell me, do they understand and can they figure out what it is my guest does? So here are your choices today, viewers. Is my guest A, a professor, B, an activist, C, a life coach, D, a song and record producer, or E, none of the above? All right, Pastor, you want to answer the question?
I think I have lived in all of those lanes.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. I was gonna say give all the above as an answer, but I like I'm keep it like I always do. They ain't gonna get the right answer. But
yeah.
I want to thank you for being here today. Oh man, I mean, Pastor, I don't know where to begin besides saying, can you tell us a little bit about growing up as oh, and I forgot to tell everybody, this is my pastor. So I forgot, I dropped the doctor, but I'm going to pastor because this is my pastor. So we went through all the proper protocol for journalism and introducing you as Dr. Freddy J. Clark. But if you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and say pastor.
Yeah,
And you tell us a little bit about growing up in St. Louis, because you're from St. Louis, correct?
correct. I'm a native St. Louis, and yeah. Um, in fact, I love the city of St. Louis with all of her blemishes. I think every city has them. Uh, but I grew up on the north side in the city of St. Louis, lived in several places. It seemed as if we were always moving. See, so my nurturing comes from the matriarchs of the family, my mother and grandmother and aunts. Um, uh, so the product of St. Louis Public Schools, graduate of Sumner High School, which seems like a long time ago. Uh, in fact, we have a reunion coming in about 2 weeks. And so I'm really excited about having a chance to see those who would show up. And then I get a chance to inquire about those that I haven't seen. And hopefully those that are there can give me some information about their well-being. I went to Harris Stowe University initially to start college. Uh, Harris now is a honorable HBCU.
Yes, sir.
Proud to have it a part of our city, and uh, met a lot of great people there, and we continue to be friends as a result of my going there. Went to Bishop College, Dallas, Texas, and graduated Bishop. Came back to St. Louis, and uh, believe it or not, I'm still kind of sort of in school. I'm a lifetime learner. Love to learn. I love to be in conversation these days about issues of diversity and how I see it as making every community stronger. See, so there is a difference between being a part of a diverse community and then being included, because inclusion and diversity is not the same thing. You can be in a diverse situation and yet not be included.
Yes, sir.
So it's important that we continue to find ways to talk about not just diversity, but inclusion as well. Uh, um, so that life can really be seasoned the way I think our Creator intended for it to be. I have been privileged to be the senior pastor of three different congregations. My first assignment being in Alton, Illinois, at the Tabernacle Church there. Uh, what a wonderful experience that was for me. And I didn't know then how outstanding those people that God blessed me to meet back then really were. Many of us, we also remain friends, and I'm constantly nurtured by uh, seeing them and their children, and now their children's children. And I wouldn't have had that privilege had I not gone there, as well as the Morning Star Church in St. Louis, where I initially met you, Cecil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It becomes a part of the point I intend to make, or which I hope I'm making, about how God blesses the journey.
Yes, sir.
And along the way you just meet great people who you thought initially you would add to their lives. And it ends up that they give you more than you could have ever given them. And so I am beyond grateful for the experiences of meeting you and your family and so many other families at Morning Star. And from Morning Star, organically speaking, came the Shalom Church, City of Peace.
Yes, sir.
I've been there since its beginning. We're 28 years old now,
Yes, sir.
and I'm got my eye on the exit. Uh, and I hope to be able to pass to the next generation of believers a healthy church. So, you know, my journey has been much more than what I'm able to say in the short period of time that we've had. But boy, do I thank God for all of it. And I do mean all. The good and the bad. You know, or maybe I don't mean bad. At the time, it was bad.
Yes, sir.
Uh, but when you create distance from it all, you see it as one of the many challenges that becomes a part of the journey to help you become stronger and wiser and hopefully better.
Yes, sir. And Pat, like I said, you mentioned going to Bishop College, attending Bishop College. As far as leaving St. Louis to go to Texas, did you know anybody there when you went to Bishop College? Or
Yeah, no. It was. I am the first person within my immediate family context to have gone to college. And I was content to just be in town doing it and just be a local. And my pastor, Moses Javis, gave some insight and then direction on how I can do better what I'm called to do if I'm around it. And so Bishop College was one of those institutions, also a HBCU, that had a religion department, a religion and philosophy department, a liberal arts college that had other major departments, just like other colleges. But on the campus was a religion and philosophy department. And as a young clergy, young, inexperienced clergy, I got a chance to be around persons who were new to the calling as I was, and we sort of cut our teeth academically and theologically at the same time. And all of the relationships that were developed at that institution has really helped to shape me as a person and as a preacher even to this day. And so that it was one of those experiences that that when you look back on it, you just wish that you could have enjoyed it by taking your time. I was in a rush. I was just wanted to get, I'd never been away from home. I wanted to get home. The first few weeks I spent crying. I spent lamenting about my having to be in this foreign land
Yes, sir.
with all of the people that I knew that I had left. And so I was kind of attached to those relationships, not knowing that not only did I not have to lose those relationships, but I was building new ones.
Yes, sir.
And Bishop College was one of the best things that happened to me. It was a time, see, so as you know, about 5 minutes ago, I said that my nurturing was from the matriarchs of the family.
Yes, sir.
And so being at Bishop College was the first time I got a chance to really witness African-American men model success.
Yes, sir.
And the psychological impact that had on me in my attempting to become what I was looking at, then moved me to want to do and be the same for those that was coming behind me. And so, you know, for all of the times that I have failed people, I probably like you, I lose more sleep over that than out of all of the successes that God has given me. It is those moments where I have fumbled that remains painful for me. And that's even in the context of understanding the faith dynamic of our Christian experience. That although I know that we serve a forgiving God, that there are moments when it pains me that I have missed opportunities to be or to model a mature leader before people, younger brothers and sisters. And so one of the encouraging things for me is to try to convince myself that I'm yet a work in progress. And that's not cliche. That is a heartfelt expression that comes with maturation. You're not able to say or to even think at those levels until you move to a place and point where you embrace what Paul says, that when I was a child, I thought like a child, acted like one, but when I became mature, when I could see the whole playing field, I put away childish things. And so, you know, all of that takes time for whomever is looking in and listening, you know, that if you're at a fork in the road or at the crossroads of your life and your thoughts are convoluted, take a deep breath, consult the Creator, and then ask our God to order your steps. And then I'm think I got enough experience to say with confidence that you'll be all right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Pat, we're going look, I just say stepping back a little further for another time. When you were called, or when you received your calling, How old were you?
I was 16.
Now,
I was 16 years old, Cecil. Yeah.
now at 16, being in high school and involved and stuff, how did you did you just let everybody know, or how was it? How did you deal with being 16 and saying God's called me to preach?
I was as confused as any 16-year-old. I don't want anybody to think that somehow I was clear in my thinking. I knew that it was something peculiar, but that knowing was in part.
Mhm.
And so in our tradition, I did what I thought I should have done, and I shared it with others who then moved me in this lane of spiritual development. But I would be disingenuous if I said that at 16, I was on my way with a clear agenda of what God expected of me. No, every step of the way has been a learning process. I do suspect that the expectations of me were greater coming from others than I had of myself. Because once you say that you have been called to preach and things of that nature, then the expectation of others is that you've conquered all of the obstacles that get in your way. And that's not true. Not at 16, not at 26, and not at 46. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yes, sir.
That we are not robots, even if we have a spiritual discipline that we follow. We are still human beings that on any given day, we are prone to follow our own mindset.
Yes, sir.
And so it's a constant struggle. It's a backwards and a forward pull. And that's not the worst. The worst is to have those kind of challenges and not learn from it. That all of us ought to see ourselves as learners in every predicament that we find ourselves. And then to resist treating God as a cosmic bellhop that ring the bell and God will come running to us. So, but 16, yeah, crazy, right?
Now, like you said, moving here, when we first met, when we first met, man, it was like, okay, all right, yeah. And then the first time that you came to the house to visit, which first of all, when my grandmother said it, we was like, yeah, okay, who coming? Well, no, the pastor's coming. My grandfather was like, coming where?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
He coming to the house. Okay, all right. So when you came, it was like, oh, my eyes was like, okay, now I got the new pastors here and my grandfather, who ain't talked about church, ain't been near church. Let's see how this gonna work.
Yeah.
So I was in there watching, and like I said, his first thing to you was, so you the pastor? He said, yes, sir. I was like, okay, it's going good so far.
Yeah.
And then he asked you something, and you were like, yes, sir. He's about, and looked at me. He might be all right. Then you left and went to the kitchen. He's about, yeah, I think I might go to church with y'all because he seemed to be legit. I was like, wow, okay, God really sent this man.
Yeah. I remember. I remember your grandfather. Man, he was awesome to me. I'm not just saying that. I have I have never, ever been in control of how people either accepted me or rejected me. I and so it's left me in a place to try very hard to be authentic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And authenticity, I don't know how it is perceived in other vocations, in other uh, professional spaces, but I do know that authenticity is problematic
Mm.
in spaces of religion.
Mm.
That there is an unspoken something that leaves people not wanting you to be yourself.
Mm.
That they have an image of the instrument that is used by the divine. They have a perception, and if you don't live up to that perception, then you don't spend enough time with God, or either
Mm.
this word anointing, you're not under the anointing or something like that. And I have always just tried to be myself, and at times it is bad for the saints but good for the sinners.
Yes, sir. Oh man, I mean, like you said, that was that part of your authenticity is it really came out. Like I said again, when I met you, I was 17 years old, and we were getting ready. We were getting ready for high school, and everybody around the church was, well, you know, you shouldn't go, you shouldn't do, and you stood up and said, okay, to all my seniors, y'all 17, proms are coming up, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And everybody look around, wow. We're like, yeah, come on, there's no sin in enjoying yourself. He said, this is what you do. He said, because what you do, you're gonna do anyway. But hopefully with your foundation that we give you here and show you, you can have fun and be who you're gonna be. And we were like, all right, yeah, okay, that's our pastor. That we, yeah. I mean, you've always given us, like I said, that realm of you have to live your life. You always said you have to be human in your living. You're a human being. You ain't a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as when you dealing with family, has always been an issue and a big thing for you to let us feel as if we're family. Does that come? That you got that from Bishop, or that's just a general? That's just you.
About my family.
As far as making everyone feel like they're family when they're around you.
Oh, they are family. I since yeah, I don't know where I got it from. I don't know where I got it from. If I got it from anywhere, maybe it's just the way all of us need to be.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yes.
Maybe there's nothing special about it. Maybe it's a branch on the tree of one being authentic. That you don't carry into situations the ego that will always separate and keep you divided, keep you thinking stuff about yourself that is not true, like you are better than because your experiences are different.
Mm.
And you know, that is thinking that is intoxicated.
Okay.
Sober-minded people understand that they are part of the human makeup, and we all complement each other. That what I lack, you have, and what you lack, I have. And if we can find a way to interconnect and share and build each other up, then the human race is better because of it. So I don't need any complimenting on receiving, brothers and sisters. That's just the way I think it should be.
Yes, sir. Oh, fast. I mean, it's been now over 30 years since we've known each other. And in that process, I mean, I've learned so many things, and I've taken so many things, especially when it was time for me to go off to school. Knowing that really you were the first person that I had known on a level of respect who had been away. You were able to give me some things as far as, now you might not know nobody, and if you do, just be open to what's going on. And I took some of that stuff and I worked it and used it. And then 2 years later, I came home with my TV show I had just started up, and you were the first outside guest over 30 years ago.
Wow.
So here we are again on Mr. Parker's Neighborhood.
Wow.
So we were at Morning Star, we did the interview, and your closing words was to me were, you may not like what you have to do, but you have to do to get to what you like.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that we were talking about education. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
About. So yeah, I think I may have said something like a truly educated person is a person that does what they have to do when they have to do it, whether they like it or not.
Yes, sir. That's it. That's it. Yes, sir. And I mean that piece. Yeah. I mean, I took from that day and have used, because I said, watching you and being around you, I learned I had to sacrifice me to get the common goal, the big goal. And I mean, in those times, it was, and became ABC president a little bit after that, and went from 20 people to over 300, which they hadn't seen, but it was based on the personality. Because we went out to eat one time when we were younger at Jason's, and we were eating, and somebody came up and spoke to Tommy and everybody around the table, and then they were talking about, yeah, I hear y'all at this new church, and I hear y'all got this new pastor, yada, yada. And you're just sitting there. And they tell they said, yeah, Pastor Clark, blah, blah, blah. And you're sitting there, and the person finally says, oh, I'm sorry, how you doing, sir? I'm so-and-so. You say, hi, I'm Pastor Clark. And they were like, oh my God. And I was like, that is how you do it. Yeah. People express what they feel and what they know when they don't realize it. Yeah. And I use that as a president, getting people to come to ABC. I'm saying, yeah, the president is this, the president is that. Yeah, okay. And we get ready to leave, say, hey, how you doing? I'm the president. And it's like, oh man. What I took from you on that is that people express and accept you when you just, like I said, just you. Yeah. When you just authentic, where there's no flam, and you tell them about I'm the best and we the best. Like, no, people gonna decide how they want to treat you, and if they want to treat you based on how they feel it. So as far as all the people you've trusted and touched, where do you think society as a whole has dropped off on caring about people in general?
I don't know. I think all of us look at the news. Let me say this about where we currently are. I think with the recent census counting and the white structure that had been held in place for ever, this current census counting is the first time that there has been a decline in the increase of to the white population. And so there's a lot of, not that they needed encouraging,
Yes, sir.
but there is a more animus now toward Black people and people of color, because we are headed to living in a nation where there is no majority.
Yes, sir.
Which is frightening for people who have been the majority, labeled as the host culture, who set the rules and regulations, who have baptized the bricks of our nation in racism, because it is structural. That when you have had at the top of the chain in our leadership, persons that would utter words such as that, good people on both sides and all of that, I think all of that moved toward making public the kind of ugly sensitivities, insensitivities that will keep us divided and working hard to be united. That's a long answer to what what you asked. But we're in a space right now where there are those who've been a part of a system of racism that's fighting hard to try to maintain that.
Yes, sir.
And so it takes all of us who are of goodwill and who understand that we are better together, and that our complexions, our different complexions, ought not make that much of a difference. We all bleed red.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That the church really has an opportunity to step up and lead the way, to talk about not just the goodness of God, but how we can together fulfill the ultimate design, the ultimate telos of God in our present situation. There is no easy answer for that everybody has to be individually responsible for, loving in places where you've received nothing but hatred. Yeah, that that for those of us who've been hated, that it becomes our responsibility to show our brothers and sisters who are blind,
yes, sir. Yes,
that
sir.
that ain't the way.
Yeah.
Nobody wins when you reciprocate, when you give hateful energy to those who have given it to you. Yeah.